Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to All the Mods 6. So last episode we started into a bit of mana and artifice, made some basic spells, and tiered up. Now today we are going to be continuing that. I would like to get into golems. I don't know that we'll get all the way into golems today, but we're going to start working towards those some. I did do a little bit of, I built a little table here, like I said I was going to do, added some shelves. Built out the well area there, but out here I did start just kind of expanding out so we have a little bit more room to work with. So we do have our projectors right in here, and we do have our mana weaving patterns in here, and have leveled up a little bit. Now one thing I would like to do today is make a new spell as well, because we do need to start looking towards tiering up. Of course, we do want to reach tier 5 as quickly as possible, and so getting some of these knocked out will be good for us. Not to mention mana crystals would be nice to get into as well. So, and we pretty much have to do a very large chunk of this stuff in order to even get golems up and going. So, now what we're going to do first and foremost, if we take a look at Chimerite, it is emeralds at level 5, diamonds at 10, and coal is at 20, which we are up to magic level 20 right now because I've just been popping this occasionally whenever I think about it. So the first thing that we want to do is pop over to here. Now emerald ore, of course, we can get Chimerite from that starting at level 5. So we've been good on getting it from Chimerite for a good while now, but this is the first time that we are actually kind of needing it. So Chimerite, if you want to get your hands on that, mining ore, emerald starting at level 5, and then diamond at 10 and coal at 20, is going to net you some Chimerite. So you can see we actually get quite a bit of it. If we vein mine that out, we got nearly 2 stacks there. So it's not going to take us a whole lot of effort, since we do have these emerald bees. It's not going to take us a whole lot of effort to get tons of Chimerite. And at this point we could also get it from mining coal, so that's an option as well. But we've got plenty of this lying around, so there we go, tons of Chimerite. As you can see, not super rare whatsoever, but we are going to be using a bit of this both for decorative purposes and for use as well. So now I don't remember, that's not it's not required. Another thing that we need to do is cantrip. We can easily cast a new cantrip. It's left control. This is our tier 2 cantrip. So Dispel removes harmful magical effects such as poison, and it's great versus witches. For this one, I think we can do it with just 2, right? So if we do like circle, circle, this should be alright. So circle, circle, and there we go, Dispel. That easy. So, no. There we go. Cast tier 2 cantrip out of the way. Modifying spells, we can do that, but we also have to craft a spell with complexity 35 or more. So what we're going to do at this point, do we want to just upgrade? I don't know if that'll count. But we might just go ahead and do the ritual of alteration, I think. And then if it doesn't count, we can always make another spell. But I do want to upgrade our Fling. Basically so that it takes more mana, it shoots us further, and we can level up a bit faster with it. Now I think, as far as the tier 2 spells, I would like to get frost damage up and going, but if I don't make it at tier 2, that's fine, because we can make it better come tier 3, But I think as far as the new spells, I mean, Leap is good. Crystallize still very, very useful. Divination is actually very good, and something that I would like to get. And we do have a range, so we might make a divination spell as well today, because I would like to talk about that spell. It would be quite good to get, and it would be pretty good at this rank. So, but if we take a look here at the rituals, ritual of alteration, let's take a look here. We're going to pin that real quick. This is only going to take a 5x5 for this one. Let me grab this real quick. And it is going to be here, here. And it doesn't matter which, you know, we could do it in this direction as well. That doesn't really matter. But and then it's going to be here, 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 and here, and here. Okay, so that's going to be our ritual of alteration. Now, in addition, we're going to have to craft a book of alteration. So let's go ahead, open this up, and you could say that we can do this in the mana weaving altar. A couple pieces of vellum, a couple pieces of leather, some infused thread, any kind of red dye, and ventium for this. And then we have to do these shapes right here. So let's go ahead and start getting this together. A couple pieces of vellum, 2 leather, the infused thread, which is infused silk, that's wool string and mystic focus. To get this, it's just a square. I'm just going to draw it out in this case. I keep seeing it as a circle. Just right click if you need to remove that, by the way. But can I not draw a square? Oh my gosh. There we go. Sometimes it can be a little bit awkward, but it is still kind of cool because you get to draw on screen and stuff. But there's that. And then to get the, it was just the ventium and then this shape right here, which is going to be great fun to draw. That. And then we need to go, oh wait, that's a really bad starting point. We go up and like that. There we go. And that's going to get us our infused thread. Let me remove those because we don't need them. And then we just need red dye and ventium. Also, we do need to talk about spell mastery today. Kind of mastering spells. So we will talk a little bit about that as well. I can't remember the name of it. If we take a look at sorcery, Rote, I think is the name of it actually. You could say that these Fling and Sylph are capped. We do need to talk about those today slightly. Basically, we can make a special spell book. So we might make the one spell book. I can't remember the name of it, but we may make that. So now we need square, octoro, circle, and agnecto. So we can at least start off with the square easy enough. And then we need to do, whoops, that, circle, and the reverse, right? Yeah. This right here. There we go. And we'll get that crafted up. And there is our book of alteration. Okay. So now what we can do is we can hit Z. Oh wait, it's conflicting, isn't it? Yeah. Let me see what it's conflicting with. We have hotbar swapper. Let's just change. There's so many conflicts. Let's just change this for now. And we'll open this up, and you can see we can select different modifiers here. And with Fling, just remember there's no delay. So using delay, it doesn't help it, and using damage, it doesn't help it. So for example, if we set range into here, oh no, it's all speed, isn't it? Yeah. You can see that range, it doesn't let us do anything here. So it is entirely speed that increases the distance. So what we're going to do is you can see these little buttons right here. We can turn this up, and what we're looking for is something, because it's not going to let us go above 3 speed, so we're not going to be able to get the complexity that we need with that. I mean, we could get it by turning up the delay, but of course there's no benefit to that. That would be just giving it a long delay for no real reason. Let me just turn that down. Yeah, 3 is going to be the most we can do. Well, that's okay. It's still going to count for our one task here, which is this one right here, and then we'll just make another spell because there is other spells that I want. So we're going to go with speed, and you can see that it has been selected now. So let's go ahead and we'll just set this in, say right there, And we're going to take our Fling spell and put it right there. And then if we go to... So I think we'll have to click it, right? Well, let's just do this. It is wanting runes here and sugar, redstone. This is basically making up for the reagents that we would have had to apply to give it speed. This is making up for that. So let's get some sugar, redstone, and then looks like yellow and white glyphs. Oh no, I'm out of white. That's fine. But we'll just do it this way, and then hopefully we can I'm thinking that we can go ahead and just get Rote on the speed modifier and just use that then. Because now that we're at tier 2, we can start getting into Rote, and that's just going to make our lives a whole lot easier as we move forward. So let's pop over. And we don't need the Chimera just yet, but we're going to need that soon. Okay, so let's go ahead and activate this ritual. And we are going to have to do a little bit of drawing here. Let's see, what's requested? Oh no, we don't need drawing for that, never mind. So you can see that we got our Book of Alteration back. And then we're going to just hold control and... Is it control? And right click. And we can open this up, and now we can adjust the speed of the spell from here. So you can see we can't get up to the complexity that we need, but that's okay. And now we can shoot quite a bit further with our Fling spell. So, woo! Now this should be getting us some XP. Well, you can see our XP bar up the top left is going to level a bit quicker. But then also, if we take a look, it did count that. And I want to see about... yeah, we're going to start getting a little bit of speed XP and working towards getting that maxed out. Now, on that topic, we're going to take a second to make a Book of Rote so that we can start using this. It's not going to be super useful to us at the moment because literally all we have right now is Fling, Self, and... yeah, that's it. Fling, Self, and we can work on getting Collapse finished out, and then we can work on getting Speed finished out. So, eventually I'd like to get all the spells into our Book of Rote, but it's going to take us a little bit for sure. Alright, so we're going to need 3 pieces of vellum, and we'll go ahead and just convert down a bunch of leather. So 3 pieces of vellum. Let's see, Book of Rote is a lot of shapes, none of which are square, so we're actually going to set it up right here. And then we're going to need some more Arcanist ink. And let me get this ritual off of here, so just click there to remove that. Our Book of Alteration, I'm going to put it just right up here. So then later on, if we want to adjust our spells, we can. And our Arcanist ink, there's that. So that'll be out of the way. And then we need 2 string. I happen to have just enough. And then we just need 3 of these mundane rings. Now, we are going to need a mundane ring pattern for this. And we're going to need some superheated Ventium. Okay. That's easy enough. Let's go ahead and get like... we'll just get like 10 pieces of this. We're going to throw it in there and let that start cooking to make us our superheated Ventium. And then we are going to have to get together a runic anvil. So, a runic anvil and a rune scribing table as well. So, let's go ahead. The rune scribing table is just like this, which I am going to need some more wizard chalk. Okay, so there's our rune scribing table. Oh, we can actually use our damaged chalk. So that's good. We'll just set this up like right over here, I guess. We'll be fine. And then we are also going to need to get a... Oh, where are you at? Runic anvil. Here we go. Barrel, a couple more pieces of wizard chalk. Tier 2 just opens up so many things that we kind of get to pick and choose to some degree as to what we do. So I do want to get this Book of Rote out of the way. This is another thing that we really won't have to craft, you know, a lot or anything. There we go. There is our runic anvil. And we're actually going to need this stuff for our golems anyways. So Okay, now we're also going to need to get the hammer, the runesmith hammer. There's that. And the chisel. This one right here. And we're just going to slot these right into there. And then we are going to need to get, I don't remember the name of it. It's like a unchiseled thing. Unfired rune plate. This right here, it looks like we can use any kind of rune for that. Or any kind of glyph, I mean. I always call them runes. So if I say rune, of course, there is runes and there's also glyphs within mana and artifice. So, but a lot of times if I say rune, I mean glyph. And okay, so let's go ahead, take this. Oh, it has to be actually a dyed one, doesn't it? That's fine. There's that. And we're just going to take our plate and just put it right into there and get that cooking up. And let's go ahead and grab our superheated vellum, or ventium. And there's that. These don't take all that long to cook, so that's good. Now let's go ahead and we're just going to put that in there. And then we need to find the pattern for rings. Because that is what we want to make right now. So if we take a look at the mundane ring, this right here, we need this pattern right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come in. I always hate doing this. Be careful when you're doing this, because if you do make any mistakes, you are going to have to start completely new. Why can I not find the... There it is. Okay, so we're going to come down to right here. We'll go ahead and chisel that in, and we're going to do the same thing down here. Alright. And we're going to come over like 3. And then, of course, the same is true for all these sides. Once again, being very careful not to make any mistakes. And we're basically just going to chisel this out. You can see it takes a little bit of durability there. And then we need to basically draw boxes on the inside of this. Like so. And there we go. We got a pattern for mundane ring. Now I think we did get, let me see real quick. We did actually get just a blank rune pattern while exploring. Sometimes you can find those. It doesn't really save us much time though, because they're so cheap to make. It's the finished runes that take a bit more effort. Okay, now to actually get our mundane ring, basically we're just going to hammer our superheated ventium into that pattern. So we're going to set this in. We're going to set our superheated ventium there. And then we are going to get our runesmith hammer and just right click this a few times. And there we go. There is our ring. Our first ring. Now I've got to do this again. You can see we've done a little bit of durability damage. That's fine. That's why we need to get our Nature's Aura stuff set up. We're probably going to be... Oops. Doing that. We will probably be moving into some Nature's Aura before too terribly long. Because I do just kind of want to get that up and going. But I think you could probably make these unbreakable, right? I don't think there's... I don't know. They may not be able to be enchanted, actually. Okay, there is our ring. Did I need 3 or did I need 4? I can't remember. Actually, I think it was only 3, right? But, yeah, it was only 3. But we'll make use of that other one, so... It doesn't hurt because... that can only be used to make mundane rings, so... it doesn't hurt us at all. Okay, so let's go ahead and drop these in. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And if we take a look at our Book of Rote, we're going to have Octoro. Wrong staff. There we go. We are going to have Triangulus. We are going to have Religo. we are going to have Adamus. And then Adnecto. And then we are going to have Inverse Triangulo. Pattern wasn't recognized. I swear, I think Inverse Triangulo is like an impossible shape. Yeah, I may just have to, There's certain ones that actually register pretty good, certain ones that don't register so great. So, alright, let me just get a mana jar. And go. There we go. And that is going to get us our Book of Rote. Okay, so the Book of Rote is left control and right click to open this up. And we can do a radial menu with one. Sorry, this one. We can open this up. Now what the Book of Rote allows us to do is anything that we have mastered, for example, Self and Fling, we can make spells for this. Now, we will be able to add modifiers to this, but right now we cannot because we don't have any modifiers. So right now we're not going to add any spells to this, but as soon as we get a bunch of spells mastered, we can start adding different spells and not have to carry all this stuff around. Now there is also the spell book, which I need to look and see what it's going to take for us to make a spell book. Though at the moment it's not like we're actually using that many spells. Oh, they're super cheap though. Okay, yeah, let's make one of these. The Book of Rote is just good to have on hand and kind of keep in mind because generally if you have a spell and you use it for very much, you're going to max it pretty quickly. And then the Book of Rote is basically going to allow us to cheaply, easily upgrade these spells as we progress, because remaking the spell and adding modifiers every time, it's not going to be fun to do. Generally, you won't use the Ritual of Alteration very much, because it's something that you'll just apply the modifiers when you first make the spell, get it to where you can put it in your Book of Rote, and then be done. Because the Book of Rote, then we can... For example, if I reach tier 5 and I have, you know, a lot of mana, and I have, say, fire damage and projectile and damage modifier, all of those counted as rote spells, then I can easily make new spells and upgrade them on the fly without having to make the spell or do the ritual or anything like that. So basically just getting everything to rote as quickly as possible cuts down a lot on your materials. But our spell book, if we hold left control and right click, we can open this up and we can put in, for example, Fling, and we can put in Collapse, and we can have access to these. So, and then if we hold 1 here, we can select these spells. Now you'll notice that there's only so many slots. These slots right here are for storage. These are for your active spells. So just kind of bear that in mind. Book of Rote, of course, doesn't have storage, but you can have up to 8 spells saved. So you don't get all of the storage, but you can just remake the spells. It doesn't cost you nothing. So I tend to like Rote a bit more, just being able to make them on the fly, you know. But as you can see, our Fling is getting pretty strong at this point. Now the next thing I'd like to do is if we went with like Ice Affinity. Let me see. I don't remember what opposes it. Or it'd be under water. Water opposes fire. Okay, that's great. I think that's... is that what we want to do? Or... And we did get these and that knocked out. So you can see just doing that... making our Book of Rote knocked out 3 things for us, which is pretty good. And I'm glad we got that out of the way. But of course now I want to get more spells into our Rote. But you can see speed, we're building up on that quick. Yeah, I think for right now we'll go with frost damage. Looking at this, because I'm kind of thinking about when it comes to our faction, what are we going to go with, which I do have an idea for that, and then trying to build my affinities, because I do want to lock our affinities later on. So what we're going to do, let's clear this out. Let's go with a... there's 2 spells that I'd like to make. First up, let's do a projectile frost damage spell, and we're going to modify it with extra damage, of course. And we can't go quite up to 8.5, but we can do 8 damage, which is pretty good for a projectile spell. With a mana cost of 57, which is fine. That will go down as we get our affinity for ice or for water up. And then, let's see. I don't think we have duration yet. We do not. We will go with maybe speed. Yeah, and then we can get it up to a 40 complexity, mana cost of 60. That'll be good. Okay, so let's go ahead and... Whew, that's a lot of stuff. Let's go ahead and craft that one out. And it's a good time to talk about factions as well. If we take a look right here, it talks about factions, and we'll be able to choose a faction. So there's the Demons of the Nether, the Fairy Court, or the Ancient Council of Wizards. There is one more that's not mentioned in here. It's a newer one. But these different factions will allow us to get some special items and some special spells. You're not really locked out of other spells and other items, but there is kind of a downside to using spells and items from the other factions, which is you'll get attacked by basically, I think it's, yeah, assassins. They're stronger than your normal like mobs and stuff like that, but that's okay. It's nothing we won't be able to deal with by the time that we start doing that. But the demons, so lots of fire and stuff like that there. The Fairy Court is kind of like tricksters, so they have decoy, they have heal. I think you can go invisible, yeah, with the Bracelet of Trickery while you're sneaking and just stuff like that. The Ancient Council of Wizards is basically what you would think of as wizards, so they get shield, mana transfer, they can dispel things, they can get temporary little like reductions on mana cost, stuff like that. These have all been around for a while, but there is a new one. I think it actually right here. Is it this one? Yeah, that adds the Undead Legion. This one I've never played with before. I've played with the other ones, but mainly just in creative, and just kind of saw what they were about. But the Ritual of the Cold Dark is the Undead faction. And the Undead faction, there's a lot of downsides to doing this one. First up, you have to kill things to get mana, because you run on souls. Your mana does not naturally regenerate. Kind of important. I'm not sure about mana potions, if those would work or not. That's something I'll have to test in creative. I haven't decided which one at the moment that I want to go with. But I do kind of like this one. But at the same time, there's a lot of downsides to it, so we'll see. You also, which there's a tier here, so you get the least amount of souls from undead, then animals, then monsters, then villagers, and then players being the highest. You can also sleep in coffins. You burn in the sunlight. You can breathe underwater. If you wear a helmet, it will damage the helmet just like an undead and eventually break it, but it will keep you from burning. But of course, if we have an unbreakable helmet, that pretty much should negate this effect, but I'm going to test out and see about this other one. Because not getting your mana back, because the thing about mana and artifice, as you can see, your mana regenerates really, really fast. So going Undead faction, it may make it harder for us to really rely on mana and artifice for a lot of our spells. So you can also see that if we look inside of here, you can see special spells that are given to you depending on your faction. So the Undead get Mind Vision, they get Summon Skeletal Horse, which is kind of nice. They get Mist Form. They get Possession. All those things are really cool, but all the factions have kind of their upsides. Now, my personal favorite as far as the original three, like I said, I've never played Undead, but I do like the Wizards because they get Arcane Damage, they get Shield, they get Animus, which is a lot of fun. They get Mana Shield and Mana Transfer, both of which are kind of nice. But Possession sounds kind of cool as well, so I don't know. We'll just have to see. We'll have to see. Because that's something I haven't made up my mind yet. But let's go ahead and get our Frost Damage spell, which I don't plan on going with the Nether, so I think going with like Frost or Arcane Damage or something like that for now. Well, we'd have to go Wizard to get Arcane, but I think going with Frost Damage right now should be good for us. Plus, I want to get this in our book saved. Now, the other thing I'd like to do is let's make a touch spell, and this touch spell is going to be Break. Oh, we don't have magnitude yet, though. I'll tell you what, we'll wait on break. It's good, but without magnitude, it's really not that great, to be honest. So, let me see. Is there anything else? I do want to get crystallized and divination. So I may make these off camera because, you know, it's the same process. They're not too expensive. But right now, we really want to be making spells that have something different up here, ideally. Something different in here and something different in here, just so we can get more spells into our Book of Rote, because that's going to help us out a lot. Okay, so let's go ahead and whip up a frost damage spell. Open this up. Okay. Oh, gosh. So many things that we need. Alright. Oh, we need a lesser mystic focus, too. Okay, let me just go get all this stuff together real quick. Because it'll be a bit easier if we do it while we have the book on us. I'm going to need so many swords. Okay, I got most everything together for this spell, so let's go ahead and fill this all in. This mod uses up so much inventory space. We might have to get a bigger backpack soon. Upgrade that. And probably have a second one as well, just for tools and things like that. Alright, so there is 3 of those. 2 of these are just going to go down as they are. And then we're going to have to make this right here, which takes redstone, gold nuggets, and ventium. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Redstone. That. And then the ventium. Okay. And then it's going to be triangle and religo for this. There we go. Bear in mind that you can just change these out as well. But that's just more stuff we got to carry around. So we'll use them a little bit, but let's see. That. And then we'll just hit this. Boom, and then we're going to have to draw some stuff real quick. So triangle. For that, we're just going to smack there. Okay. There we go. These, it's a little bit easier because you can kind of follow these patterns. Because this is the way that it reads it. There we go. And there's our new spell. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to set this one up. Let's go with let's go with that. And we're just going to call this we'll call it Basic Ice Bolt. Close that out. And there we go. We have an ice bolt. Now you'll notice that the range of the shot is going to be dependent on the duration. Because after 3 seconds, this one kind of falls off. But you can increase that with more duration. This one is just a 3-second duration. Alright, I think I've got a zombie down here. Let's go down there and shoot him. And we're going to want to use this a lot. Oh, I don't have one down here. Okay. We're going to be using this a lot for... There he is. For combat until we get this spell roted in. I'm actually not going to put it onto our book just yet, because that way I can kind of tab between them a little bit easier. That way if I'm fighting, I've got this. And actually, I'll tell you what, instead of... Let's just do that. And let's change our spellbook quick selection to like this, because we're going to be using this a lot. So, yeah. And then we'll just put in our ice bolt. And that way I can easily flip between these. And this one will be primarily for leveling, but also kind of nice just for travel. Especially in situations where our wand is just a little bit too much, right? This is great for long distance travel, but not as good for just moving a short distance or something. Fling is a little bit better for that now, especially since we got the increase in speed. We got a little bit more height Because with basic Fling, it's almost like you're using your mana just to try to stay where you are. You can get a little bit of horizontal distance with basic Fling, but not a whole lot of vertical distance. Still a little bit tough. And if we do that, you'll notice that with our slime boots, if we hit that right before we hit the ground, it gives us like extreme bounce. So right now we have 6 tasks completed. We do just have to finish 5 more. Okay, I was working a little bit on getting some mastery on our damage, frost, and projectile, just going out hunting during the night. So I got a little bit of that, and we are actually just about to master speed. So if we do this, there we go. Speed has become Rote. So now, at this point, now that that's done, just as an example, we're going to use this a little bit more later on, but there we go. So we can open this up now and do self fling, and we can adjust the speed of this. You can see we can't adjust the delay because we have not got delay as Rote. But basically, as you max out those modifiers, it's going to just allow you to freely adjust anything within those modifiers. So we can make our spell here. We can make... Okay, so now we have Fling on this with the same strength as... Sometimes it does that. It like acts like you can't cast the spell or something. I don't know. But we have Fling here available to us. That's the exact same Fling that we had to use reagents for, right? So as we get Rote, I mean, we're going to have to spend the reagents to initially make the spell, but never make the same spell twice. Just try to push on to Rote. Now, I was also thinking, and a thought crossed my mind, where we could potentially make undead work. Because I got to thinking, one option that we do have in this pack, because we do have mana and artifice, and we also have... we've got mana and artifice, and then we also have Forbidden and Arcanus. What we might do, if we want to go undead faction, I mean, the sun isn't that big of a deal if we make an unbreakable helmet, right? The mana regen is kind of painful, but we could also just make unbreakable wands. Because I was looking and they do work with the Stella. So we should just be able to turn all of our spells into wands that we want to use and just be able to cast them indefinitely. Just go to town with it. So really, I think it would be even stronger because we wouldn't even need to worry about our mana bar. We would maybe use certain spells on our mana system, and then we would just go to town with unbreakable wands. I think that could work for us. I do. Now, the next thing that I want to do, though, I'm going to consider that. We might go undead just because I think it would be cool. And it's a new faction, so I've never had any experience with it personally, and I think it would be kind of cool. Plus, we could breathe underwater without needing anything else, which would be good. But I would like to go ahead and make... we are going to get into some mana crystals. I think it'll probably be next episode. I think next episode we are going to be doing golems. I wonder if that works. To have an infinite mana crystal fragment, like if you were to make this unbreakable, because the durability is how full on mana it is. We might have to. I might have to fly around with some eternal stellas on here. We might have to get into that pretty quick. Which really, I don't think. It takes all the modium and vibranium. Beyond that, this is all pretty easy. We actually have some stellarite laying around, so we might turn our attention to getting some all the modium and some vibranium before long. But I'd like to mine it with mana and artifice, so I'd like to get up to that point. I'm not sure if we do a greater ring and have break, if that'll work for us. But let's go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to make one of these. The big crystals are great, the big mana crystals, but these mana crystal fragments are also really, really good. So we will have to get a mode of magic to do the large mana crystals, but we'll get into that next episode. It'll be like golems, moats. We might choose our faction next episode, but honestly, if I'm going to choose undead, I want to make sure, if nothing else, that I have an unbreakable helmet before that time comes. Now, to get this, it is going to be circle, diamond, square. I tell you what, for this, Hey there, you. Boom. Okay, so I'm going to need circle, which is Orbeus. I'm going to need square, right? Let me see. This is circle, diamond, square. Adamas and quadratum. Make sure I've got these on me, because we are going to go ahead and set this up, because mana crystals are something we're going to have to make a lot of. So it is something that is worth going ahead and making sure you've got the mana weave projectors, because we're going to end up needing a lot of these mana crystals. So let me just take that. Okay, so this is circle, diamond, square, diamond. Circle, diamond, square, and then it'll be diamond once again. And if you're doing something like this, you notice I can click these like pretty much back to back, because they're going to finish in the same order that you clicked on them, right? So we don't have to worry about that. There we go. And there is our very first. Do that. Let me get this. And the way the mana crystal works is what we can do is we can just hold right click and draw from our mana pool. And then if we ever reach a point where we don't have any mana, like so for example, if I'm out flinging around, well, it's actually probably a little bit easier to do this with Ice Bolt, and a little bit more beneficial for that matter. So let me find some mobs here. As you can see, like, this is just tier 2, and we have a pretty decent ranged weapon that's like infinite. Just relying on our mana, of course. Now, of course, if we made this into an unbreakable wand, I feel like that would actually be... Oops, I did not mean to... So now my mana is down, and if I... It's control. Okay, control and right click, I can get my mana back. So, basically, this is something that I can store up mana in, and then it acts as kind of like a... sort of an on-demand, just as much as you need... mana potion. So quite useful to have. Let me deal with these fellows. It sort of acts as that blood-seeking diamond axe. Physical damage, pierces armor. I'm actually going to take advantage of mobs being out right now. And also another thing that I do suggest is if you're planning on going the Rote route, which is I kind of plan on doing that a lot. Unless we end up going with undead, that would be the exception, because undead is going to be a little bit tough to build up Rote, because we're going to have to kill mobs to get our mana back. Unless mana potions do work, that's something I'm going to test, because I'm not sure about that. But if you do plan on going the Rote method, one thing I would suggest is, like, for example, whenever I go to get Rote on fire, like fire damage, I'm probably not going to put a damage modifier on it, because that way if I find something, I can just keep blasting on it, just pretty much using, you know, projectile fire or touch fire, because I haven't mastered touch yet. Because that way it keeps your mana cost down. It's cheaper to make the spell, because for example, if we did a touch fire spell, it takes this, but as soon as we put on, you know, damage and then try to make it viable, the costs here are going to go up. So if you're just going for Rote, it's almost better to not worry about making really good spells until you get them roted, and then kind of upgrade them into better spells in your Rote book. So, but next episode we are going to, like I said, get into golems. I thought we'd get into them this episode at first, but then I was like, well, I kind of want to do some spell stuff, so that I could start getting Rote on some of this. So we are going to be making a golem next episode. We're going to be making a mana crystal, which also means we're going to have to do a moat as well. Yeah, I actually only need 3 more. So doing the construct, the moat, and the mana crystal will tier us up. So we're going to tier up next episode, and we'll get to start delving into some of our rank 3 stuff, which will be exciting. And also just a really quick mention that is worth mentioning. Right now, we can't actually get any more magic XP since we hit level 30. So there's no use in us like farming at this point until we do tier up. So, but lots of stuff to get into in the tier 2 phase. This is, I think, the most influential phase because you get access to so much. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out, and I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.